Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts, like the chart behind me, which is of Nio, ticker symbol NIO. And so here we are looking at the 1 minute time frame because they are about to have their earnings call. They did report earnings this morning, and the price did not respond that great to it. It does look like we came down. I saw as low as about 7% drop, and then now we are bouncing a little bit though, being down about 3% in the pre-market trading. Nearly came down to this 50% level at $4.83, hitting a low during the pre-market of $4.86. And now it looks like we are testing this 382 level here at a price of $5.11, being right at that price. And so those lines are based on this Fibonacci retracement going from the low here of 361 up to the high of actually $6.05. Just it's not drawn to that point, but you can see here that it is $6.05. And so it does look like we pulled down to here. That is right around this red line at $4.78, which does correspond with this low that was hit on March 5th. And so, I was hoping and still am hoping that price goes up. It is the pre-market, and so maybe there's a fake out because now we are less than 3% down. Do look over that 1 minute time frame. Price is starting to get above 511, now at 512. So maybe this drop that we saw was actually a great dip buying opportunity, and we perhaps we'll see some moves to the upside. And I have shared that I am long Nio. I do have some shares, but then I was kind of contemplating and have been kind of exploring buying and in the money options calls, and with the possibility or being comfortable with exercising them if they do expire in the money, or just swinging them, just kind of having that option on the table. And so I did get some Nio call, or one Nio call, so it's just 100 shares that expires June, June 21st. And that cost me $48. It's quite possible that if it closes June 21st below $5, that it expires worthless. But I kind of got that with the impression that we have formed this inverse head and shoulders pattern, also a bull flag. But what we've seen is kind of, you can envision this a little bit as being in this channel here, sort of. And we're right in the middle of that channel, and so it could break to the downside or the upside. I just view there are more bullish things going on with it, and that we would be testing $6 a share. So I felt that, and potentially still do, but I'm doubting it a little bit, that buying a $5 strike call that expires in a couple weeks would be fine. Might be wrong about that. And then I also did, just for fun, yesterday, right before close, bought a call that expires tomorrow with a strike of $6. It cost me $8. Maybe I can 2x it. Maybe it goes above 6. I don't necessarily want to exercise it at $6 a share. But yeah, just thought I'd do that for fun. And yeah, like I said, I do have some shares. And, I just have been accumulating for a while. And really since I started doing videos. And I'm just excited to see it. And we do have about 6 minutes before the earnings call starts. So I might, stop my rambling about my chart, or the chart and my thoughts on it. And we'll just make sure we're all connected to the stream. Do have my headphones right here, so I just got to plug in, and I believe it should just be music right now. I don't want to get a copyright strike, but once the music stops, that means the call will start, and that's actually, it's just piano right now, so we're all good. And what you see right behind me is the Nio logo, and so that, let's see, I'll switch over to showing my display. So this is, what I'm looking at right now, just the Webull chart. But if I do flip over to the web browser, this is the Nio first quarter 2024 earnings conference call, and that should be starting in about 5 minutes. So we're all ready for that. And I'm just going to clear my throat, so I'm going to mute myself for 1 second. I don't know that did the trick, but We'll see. I think I just got to stay better hydrated. Or maybe it's just that it's early. Tough waking up this morning. I checked the Nio chart and it's like, oh man, it's down. I'm wrong. But we'll have to see. But yeah, and actually, because I was talking about options, I don't know if you guys are interested in them or curious about them. But I'm just going to look over at the June 21st strike price, the prices that are over here. These are all calls, as you can see up here. And yeah, just kind of curious about the open interest. So the maximum amount of open interest is the $5 strike. It's 25,000 contracts there. So yeah, actually, well, I shouldn't say that. The maximum is $10. So people, yeah, I mean, that kind of makes me think if people are just like, uh, just being reckless about, very far out of the money strikes, it seems like that's not so likely. And then $5 down here being in the money. Yeah, but I just think in the money calls are the safer bet. But yeah, and also, looking at options, I might flip over to the max pain so we can see that here. That's something I like to explore just to kind of consider what the direction might be going in. So for this Friday, it's probably going to be around $5. It's not too surprising. But if we look over to June 21st, this is monthly contracts, we can see that max pain is $6. So it is higher than it currently is, but I think it's always good to see the week after the monthly because monthly does tend to be biased a little bit higher or lower depending on where the stock has been in the past. But yeah, 5 for the week after. So yeah, and I think that was kind of my thesis with a $5 strike for the 21st. If max pain is $6, $5 is a little bit safer of a bet, but I probably should have gone even lower than that. So yeah, and I'm actually going to refresh this screen just because sometimes there's I've been waiting for calls that were delayed, and I'm actually going to turn the display off so you got the Nio logo back there so you guys know what you're tuning into. And if there are some tickers you kind of want to keep an eye on as the market begins the opening process, I can add them over here. These are ones that were requested yesterday. I'm going to keep AMC and GameStop up here just because I like those. And then also Blink frequently gets requested. And actually, no, I was thinking I did the ChargePoint earnings call yesterday. I was a little confused. So I was thinking those are similar. So I might actually delete those from this. And yeah, this one was requested yesterday, I believe. But I'm not really going to do anything too much with that. And Hollow, it was requested I go over that in the Discord. So I kind of did a quick little took a couple screenshots, kind of an interesting chart. And so we got about 1 minute before it starts. I imagine it will start right on time because it's, I believe, 8 a.m. on the East Coast. I believe it's 8 p.m. In China. So they don't want to be staying up too late, And actually, we can see that. And so I guess HKT, I guess that's Hong Kong. And so, yeah, 8 p.m. there. And so they don't want to be up too late. Oh, actually, you guys can't see my display. This is what I was referring to. 8 p.m., I believe HKT is Hong Kong. Maybe that's incorrect. I'm not sure. But 8 p.m. And so, yep, we are looking at 8 a.m. East Coast time right now, June 6th. So this should be starting any minute. But I know you guys are more interested in the chart than you are, than in that still image. The call is starting, it sounds like. It just got silent. So I will mute myself. I hope you guys enjoy.
2024 earnings conference call. At this time, all participants are in listen-only mode. Today's conference call is being recorded. I will now turn the call over to your host, Mr. Rui Chen, Head of Investor Relations of the company. Please go ahead, Rui.
Good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome to Nio's first quarter 2024 earnings conference call. The company's financial and operating results were published in a press release earlier today and are posted on the company's IR website. On today's call, we have Mr. William Li, Founder, Chairman of the Board, and the Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Feng, Chief Financial Officer, and Ms. Stanley Qu, Senior Vice President of Finance. Before we continue, please be kindly reminded that today's discussion will contain forward-looking statements made under the Safe Harbor provisions of the U.S. Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995. Forward-looking statements involve inherent risks and uncertainties. As such, the company's actual results may be materially different from the views expressed today. Further information regarding risks and uncertainties is included in certain filings of the company with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the Stock Exchange of Hong Kong Limited, and the Singapore Exchange Security Trading Limited. The company does not assume any obligation to update any forward-looking statements except as required under applicable law. Please also note that Nio's earnings press release and this conference call include discussions of unaudited non-GAAP financial information, as well as unaudited non-GAAP financial measures. Please refer to Nio's press release, which contains a reconciliation of the unaudited non-GAAP measures to comparable GAAP measures. With that, I will now turn the call over to our CEO, Mr. William Li. William, please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining Nio's 2024 Q1 earnings call. In Q1, Nio delivered 30,053 premium smart EVs. In Q2, thanks to the launch of all the model year products, unleash of sales capabilities, together with a more flexible sales policy, Nio's deliveries started to pick up month by month. In April, Nio delivered 15,620 vehicles, and in May, 20,544 vehicles. Our market share in the premium BEV segment continued to grow, with year-over-year growth far above the segment average. The total deliveries in Q2 is expected to be between 54,000 and 56,000 units, up 129.6% to 138.1% year-over-year. In terms of Nio's financial performance, during model year product transitioning in Q1, the vehicle margin was 9.2%. In the meantime, with the improvements on the utilization of the charging and the swapping facilities, and on the profitability of the after-sales services, gross loss on the other sales was greatly reduced quarter-over-quarter. Now, I would like to share with you the recent highlights of our products, R&D, and operations. On April 25th, the ET7 Executive Edition was launched at Beijing Auto Show. The delivery of this executive sedan has started in late April. With all-round upgrades, the 2024 Nio ET7 batch caters to the needs of a business community. It's well placed to compete with the premium executive models, especially ICE models such as BMW 5 Series, Audi A6, and the Mercedes E-Class. In terms of NAD, on April 30th, we started to push Urban NOP Plus to all N2 users, making it the largest release of its kind, accessible by more than 260,000 users on over 1.4 million kilometers of highway and urban streets, and in 726 cities in China. NOP Plus has been an industry leader in terms of its user base and coverage. During the Labor Day holiday, 48.1% of the total mileage was driven with NOP+, making user journeys safer and more relaxing. Since day one, Nio has developed a clear brand roadmap, starting from the premium segment to build up skills and experience, and then introducing a mass market brand to reach and serve more users. With that, we will be able to make greater contributions to a more sustainable future. On May 15th, at the International Day of Families, we introduced Envoy, a new brand for the mainstream family market. Envoy is from On Voyage, and its Chinese name, Le Dao, translates into path to happiness. On a mission to make family life better, Envoy is committed to bringing products with the ultimate experience value and optimal ownership cost. The pre-order of its first product, L60, was started. L60 is a smart electric mid-size SUV. The official product launch and the delivery will begin in September. The launch of Envoy has shifted us into higher gear, expanding our reach to a wider user base. As more people are aware of our technologies and the products, we will edge closer our vision of blue sky coming. As for the sales and the service networks, so far, Nio has 154 Nio houses and 388 Nio spaces, as well as 344 service centers and 64 delivery centers. About the charging and the swapping network, so far, Nio has 2,472 power swap stations worldwide and has provided over 45 million swaps. Besides, Nio has also installed over 22,000 power chargers and destination chargers. In the meantime, more industry players have joined Nio's charging and swapping network. As of now, we have partnered with Chang'an, Geely, JAC, Chery, Lotus, GAC, and FAW to jointly expand and standardize the battery swapping network. More investors have taken notice and recognized the value of Nio's charging and swapping business. On May 31st, Nio Power signed a strategic investment agreement of RMB 1.5 billion. With the support of strategic investors, Nio will be able to further develop its core technologies and expand the network. On May 13th, Nio was named in the 2024 Fortune China ESG Impact List. We have continued to show those social responsibilities and lead by example in the ESG domain to further contribute to sustainable development worldwide. Despite the fierce competition, our continuous investment in technologies, products, services, and the community starts to pay off and set us apart from others. Nio's premium brand positioning, industry-leading technologies, and innovative chargeable, swappable, and upgradable power experience have been recognized by more people, and thus driven steady sales rebound. We will continue to speed up software integration, optimize products and experiences, improve system capabilities and operational efficiency to gain a larger market share. In the meantime, as the company unfolds its multi-brand strategy and enters a broader market, we expect to bring out more potential for growth. As always, thank you for your support. With that, I will now turn the call over to Stephen for Q1's financial details. Over to you, Stephen.
Thank you, William. I will now go over our key financial results for the first quarter of 2024. To keep this brief, I only refer to amounts in RMB today. I encourage listeners to refer to our earnings press release, which is posted online for additional details. Let's begin with revenue. For the first quarter of 2024, total revenues were 9.9 billion RMB, down 7.2% year-over-year and 42.1% quarter-over-quarter. 85% of revenue comes from vehicle sales in Q1, totaling 8.4 billion RMB, down 9.1% year-over-year and 45.7% quarter-over-quarter. The decrease year-over-year was mainly attributed to lower average selling price as a result of user rights adjustments since June 2023, and a decrease in delivered volume. The decrease quarter-over-quarter was mainly attributed to a 40% decrease in delivered volume, which was affected by seasonal factors. Turning to other sales were 1.5 billion RMB, showing a 5.2% increase year-over-year and an 8.2% decrease quarter-over-quarter. The year-over-year growth was mainly due to the increase in sales of parts, after-sales vehicle services, and the provision of power solutions, which grew with our user base, and partially offset by a decrease in revenue from sales of used cars and auto financing services. The decrease quarter-over-quarter was mainly attributed to a decrease in revenue from sales of used cars. Then, let's have a look at the gross margin. Overall gross margin was 4.9%, compared with 1.5% in the same period of last year and 7.5% in the last quarter. Changes in gross margin were primarily driven by vehicle margins. Vehicle margin was 9.2% in this quarter, compared with 5.1% in Q1 2023 and 11.9% in Q4 2023. The year-over-year increase was mainly due to the decreased material cost per unit in Q1 2024. The quarter-over-quarter decrease was mainly due to lower average selling price as a result of increased promotion during product transitioning, changes in product mix, and partially offset by the decreased material cost per unit. Next, moving on to the operating expenses. R&D expenses were 2.9 billion RMB, declined 6.9% year-over-year and 27.9% quarter-over-quarter, which was mainly driven by decreased design and development costs and decreased personnel costs in research and development functions in the first quarter of 2024. SG&A expenses were 3 billion RMB, increased by 22.5% year-over-year and decreased by 24.6% quarter-over-quarter. The year-over-year increase was mainly due to, first, the increase in personnel costs related to sales functions. Second, the increase in expenses related to the company's sales and services network expansion. And third, the increase in sales and marketing activities. The quarter-over-quarter decrease was mainly due to, first, the decrease in sales and marketing activities and professional services. And second, the decrease in personnel costs related to sales and general corporate functions. Now, we proceed to the bottom line. Loss from operations was 5.4 billion RMB, representing an increase of 5.5% year-over-year and a decrease of 18.6% quarter-over-quarter. Net loss was 5.2 billion RMB, representing an increase of 9.4% year-over-year and a decrease of 3.4% quarter-over-quarter. And finally, our balance of cash and cash equivalents, restricted cash, short-term investment, and long-term time deposits was 45.3 billion RMB as of March 31st, 2024. For more information details of our first quarter 2024 financial results, please refer to our earnings press release. Now, this concludes our prepared remarks. I will now turn the call over to the operator to proceed our Q&A session.
Thank you. If you wish to ask a question, please press star one on your telephone and wait for your name to be announced. If you wish to cancel your request, please press star two. If you're on a speakerphone, please pick up the handset to ask your question. For the benefit of all participants on today's call, please limit yourself to 2 questions. And if you have additional questions, you can re-enter the queue. Your first question comes from Tim Hsiao from Morgan Stanley. Please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for taking my questions, and congratulations on the good feedback on ONVO and also some strategic breakthrough for Nio Power. I have 2 questions. The first question is about the gross profit margin. Because as we remember, the company previously guided vehicle gross profit margin would be back to mid-teens, as the strategic focus of Nio brand is profitability and the cash generation, while ONVO would be the one going for volume. However, we saw increasing promotion for Nio brand in April and May, which worked pretty well actually, and successfully boosted volume. Will management consider to continue this kind of more aggressive promotion on Nio brand for better volume in upcoming months? And do we need to revise down our vehicle margin expectation? That's my first question.
Thank you, Tim. I will ask Stanley to answer your question. Stanley.
Hi, Tim. Regarding the margins for Nio, actually in Q1 regarding the gross margin, actually we upgraded our NT2 product to 2024 version from March during the transition period of the model year product change. More promotions were offered to the old models, leading to the decrease of our average selling price in Q1. And additionally, more lower margin models like ET5 and ET5T were sold in Q1. All those factors lead to the decrease of our gross margin. As you mentioned, we delivered over 20,000 vehicles to users in May. With the recovery of sales volume, we will further optimize our product mix and negotiate with our supply chain partners for more cost efficiency in the following months. So we expect the vehicle margin will return to double digits in Q2 and continue to improve in Q3 and Q4. But considering the intensifying market competition, we will also be more flexible on sales policy to make sure our market position is secure. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you. That's very clear. Thanks for sharing all the details. My second question is about Nio Power. As William just mentioned, I think Nio Power secures the first external strategic investment of $1.5 billion or around $200 million. So looking forward, will Nio Power get and accept more funding support from other car makers in the battery swap alliance? And separately, in addition to Nio Power, is there any other tech arms or business units within the group that could follow suit to seek external capital injection and be gradually carved out? Could management team give us some examples? That's my second question. Thank you.
好，谢谢 Tim。对这个 Nio Power， 我们这次做了这个融资的这个第一笔融资以后，我们大体上还在保持一个90%左右的一个股份。那当然后续的话，我们既然已经开启了它一个独立融资的计划，我们后续也会开放这个不管是其他的车企还是其他的这个投资人的这个投资啊，我们当然是开放的啊。那当然我们觉得 Nio Power 本身来说，它的这个长期的经营的这种可持续性，我们是非常看好的啊。当然它现在在一个投资的阶段，它需要建立网络，它需要这个先把全国的 这个网络先建立起来，这个确实有一些超前的投资，但总的来说，它的可盈利性是非常清晰的。那基本上来讲，我们可以给大家一个参考的一个参考。那我们一个换电站每天大概60单的服务，那我们其实基本上就能够 break even 啊。所以如果你去看我们现在每天差不多每天的换电的电量在换电的服务接近10万的话，那我们事实上这个2000多站已经差不多在30-40单的水平，每天在30多单的水平。所以这个其实它本身长期的这种可持续性是没有问题的。当然，如果我们考虑到它在储能方面的一些收入，还有灵活升级方面的一些收入，它本身的这个盈利性，我们是毫不怀疑的。
Thank you for the question. For the Nio Power, recently we have just completed the first round of fundraising, and after this round of financing, Nio still has around 90% of equity in Nio Power, and Nio Power is now open for the external investors, be it investment from the investors or from the car companies. We are open for that. Of course, for the longer term, we do believe that Nio Power has a financial sustainability because we do have a promising and positive outlook for that. At the starting stage, as we need to build up the network for the power swap facilities, the upfront investment is relatively heavy. However, we do see a clear roadmap for the profitability with Nio Power. Let me share with you a number. Right now, for the break-even point of a single power swap station, it's around 60 swaps per day. And if you look at our current power swap service, every day on average, we offer around 100,000 power swaps with around 2,000 stations. It means that for each station, on average, they are already providing around 30 swaps per day. So for the longer term, we do see a viable roadmap for the sustainability and also the profitability of our power swap business. Not to mention that we can also leverage the revenues contributed by the energy storage and also the flexible battery upgrade of the power swap.
Thank you, team.
Thank you. Your next question comes from Ming-Sun Lee from Bank of America. Please go ahead.
Hi, William and the management team. This is Ming from Bank of America. So my first question is regarding the Onvo brand. Right now we are close to the end of second quarter. So could you give us some guidance regarding on your sales channel expansion and also CapEx expense related to Onvo brand? And also could you give us a rough product pipeline for the Onvo brand? Thank you. That's my first question.
Thank you, Ming. 我们目前的计划是乐道在9月份交付的时候，我们会有100个门店，大概100个左右的门店会 ready 啊。那么从目前从 CapEx 的角度来讲，因为乐道的门店它不需要像这个 Nio 那样有 Nio House 啊这样投资比较大，所以总的来说它比较效率还是非常高的，所以每一个门店的投资差不多在100到200万人民币之间嘛，所以从一个 CapEx 的角度来讲的话，我们认为这个对整个公司来说不是一个大的压力。
Thank you for your question. Our current plan is that when we start to launch and deliver the first product of Onvo in September this year, we're going to open up around 100 stores in China. CapEx-wise, as Onvo's sales stores or point of sales does not come with Nio House, which does not require heavy investment in that case, the overall CapEx will be pretty efficient, around 1 to 2 million RMB per store. It won't be a very heavy burden from the CapEx perspective.
Yeah.
Sorry, could you give us a rough? Could you give us a rough pipeline for Onvo brand? For example, like one model this year and then maybe 2 model next year, is it?
Yeah. 那我们现在乐道的首款产品的是这个 L60， 这个是和 Model Y compete 的一款中型的 SUV。那么在明年这个我们会 launch 这个第2款车，那么这是一款 中大型的适合这个大一些的家庭的这个 SUV 我们在明年会 launch。当然我们后续的产品都在规划中总的来说 ，Onvo 不会有太多的产品，但我们在每一款产品方面，我们都希望它的销量能够在细分市场都能达到一个比较高的一个份额，因为它所在的这个市场就是20万基线的家庭用车的这个市场，差不多是400万辆的一个市场。那我们认为在这里边我们还是有非常大的一个市场空间的，但我们不会推太多的产品，但每一款产品我们要确保它的竞争优势。
Regarding the Onvo's product line, actually the first product, L60, it will be directly competing with Model Y. It's a mid-size SUV for family users. And the next year, we're going to introduce the second product from Onvo. It will be a mid-large SUV for bigger families. We also have other products in the pipeline. But overall speaking, for Onvo, we will not have many products in its offering. We will be focusing on enhancing the market share and also the sales volume of each product in their respective segment. Overall speaking, the total sales volume for Onvo's segment, which is a family car market with a starting price of around 200,000 RMB, the total size is around 4 million, and we do believe that we have a good opportunity and room for growth in that segment.
Thank you, Ming.
Yeah, thank you, William. Thank you, William. And my second question is related to your third brand, because we read in the news today that the Fire brand could be launched or shown to the market probably by the end of this year. And could you also give us some latest update on the third brand? And last time during the earnings call, you mentioned that probably Fire brand product could be sold in Nio households, Nio space. So could you confirm on this network strategy? Thank you.
谢谢。Firefly 目前我们研发的进展总体上都是比较顺利的那么这个产品这个车在几个月前其实我就已经开过了，这个应该说表现非常的好我非常喜欢。它的定位的话呢，在中国的这个定位的话呢，是这个精品的小车虽然它的价格是10几万的人民币，但它本身是一款按照非常高的标准、安全标准和这个 quality 标准设计的一款 boutique 的一个小车。所以那么我们从目前的方向的角度来讲，在中国会和 Nio 去 share 这个同样的这个销售网络这个就和Mini 和 Smart、Mini 和 BMW 的关系差不多。当然我们的车应该不会卖的比 Mini 贵了，但我们的产品肯定比它好那这个车在明年上半年会正式交付，当然发布的时间的话，我们还没有最后决定。但总的来说，交付的角度来讲，肯定在明年的上半年早些时候。
Thank you for the question. Regarding our third brand, Firefly, the R&D activities are in good progress. Several months ago, I've already tried one of the early builds of their first model, and it's pretty good. Regarding the Firefly product in the Chinese market, it will be a boutique compact vehicle. Although its price segment is around 100 to 200,000 RMB, but it will follow a very high standard for the safety and the quality. So it will be a well-designed boutique car for the Chinese market. In terms of the sales channel, it will also share the point of sales with Nio, just like how Mini is sharing its dealership stores with BMW. We will be using the similar approach. However, the selling price of Firefly will not be as expensive as Mini, but product-wise, it is definitely a very good product. We will start the product delivery from the first half of next year. Brand launch and the product launch, we don't have the specific date for that, but the delivery date is already more or less defined. That is the first half of next year.
Thank you, William.
Thank you. Thank you, Ming.
Thank you. Your next question comes from Ben Wang from Deutsche Bank. Please go ahead.
Thank you. My question is about the margin. Because you will migrate to the NT 3.0 this year. So assume all the Nio brand products migrate from NT 2.0 to 3.0, how much margin improve we can achieve through a technology upgrade? At the same time, based on the NT 3.0 technology, can you provide a volume assumption to reach the overall company break-even? That's my first question. Thank you.
谢谢王斌。那当然，这个我们 Nio 的这个产品的话呢，要从明年开始，这个从 ET9 开始逐步切换到第3代平台。当然，从第3代平台总体上来说，我们当然希望要一个比较好的毛利率。这其中很大一部分是从这个采用更多的自研的这样的一些技术，比如说芯片啊。那这当然就能显著的提高我们的毛利率。那当然还有一些的话呢，我们也看到了一些这个比如说这个电池成本下降的空间啊。所以总的来说，我们从 NT3 的一个毛利率的设计目标来讲的话，我们是平均毛利率肯定是希望能达到20%以上的，这当然是我们的一个目标，我们对这个还是非常有信心的。那我们仍然是这个我们的目标就是说3万辆的规模，20%的毛利率，在中国的核心业务能够 Nio 本身能够这个盈利啊，这个我们仍然保持这样的一个经营的一个目标。至于 Onvo 的话呢，当然 Onvo 它本身来说，我们现在公布了一个预售价，这当然不是我们最终的定价了。那从目前的预售价的角度来讲，我们当然还是能有一个非常不错的毛利率。那当然，你们也知道，这个在 Onvo 所在的一个区间，肯定竞争是非常的激烈的。但我们不会去牺牲这个，我们不会用特别低的毛利去换这个销量，这不是我们的一个方向的方法。我们认为 Onvo 从长期来说，保持一个15以上的毛利率，这当然是我们的一个经营的目标啊。如果我们和特斯拉去看的话呢，今天它的毛利率差不多也在16、17左右，所以我们在 Onvo 的角度来讲，肯定是要去追求15以上的一个毛利率，这目前是我们的一个目标。从盈亏平衡的角度来讲 ，Onvo 自己大概2到3万辆一个月就能够做到盈亏平衡。
Thank you for the question. Regarding new brand, starting from next year, we will gradually upgrade our product to the 3rd generation, and the first product on NT3 will be ET9. And for the 3rd generation product, we will also take different approaches to improve the vehicle margin. For example, we will start to put more in-house technologies into our vehicles, like chips, for better vehicle margin performance. We also see some opportunities with the battery cost reductions. So overall speaking, our target for the NT3 product margin will be around 20% on average, and we do have a confidence of realizing that average margin of 20% from NT3. And regarding the break-even target for the new brand, our target is still the same. That is to realize a monthly sales volume of 30,000 units with a vehicle margin of around 20%, and then we will be breaking even with the core business of a new brand in China. And regarding our second brand, Onvo, we have announced the pre-sale price during the brand launch, but we haven't released the final price yet. Even with the pre-sale price, we can realize a pretty good vehicle margin. Of course, we also understand that the competition in Onvo segment is more intense than Nio. In that case, we will also strike a balance between the volume and the margin. We will not boost the sales volume at a cost of our vehicle margin. And for the longer term, our target for Onvo's products, our margin target for Onvo's products will also be above or even around or even above 15%. Because looking at Tesla, their current product margin is around 16 to 17%, and for Onvo, realizing a margin of above 15% is also a reasonable and achievable target for us in the longer term. For Onvo brand to break even, its monthly sales volume should be at least 20 to 30,000 units per month.
Thank you. My second question is about the order backlog for Onvo. You actually, in an interview, said that you are very satisfied about Onvo's initial order backlog. The some market talk is that you already have 60,000 cancelable order right now. Can you comment on the number and how satisfied you are about the Onvo order so far? Thank you.
对，你也知道我们是从来不公布这个预订单的数量的，这个因为预订单是随时可以退的，我们不认为有太大的参考意义。但我们确实 Envo 的订单的数量超过我们的预期啊，这个我们 Envo 的总裁在采访的时候也说到这一点啊，但是我们确实不会去公布这个预订单的数量，我们只能说现在在我们一个店都还没有开的情况下，已经有一个超过我们预期的预订单，这是目前我们可以沟通的。
As you know that for us, we never disclose any pre-order intake or numbers as the pre-orders are refundable and we don't think it's a very solid reference for us to look at the actual performance of the product. However, it is true that with the pre-order intake, it has surpassed our expectation, as also mentioned by the president of Envo, Alan Ai, in some interviews. So overall speaking, without opening up any stores or having products to the market, we have already received the pre-orders that beyond our expectation. That's the information we can share.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Wang Bin.
Thank you. Your next question comes from Paul Gong from UBS. Please go ahead.
Thanks for taking my questions. Two questions. The first question is, you mentioned that right now you have 2,400 swap stations. To my best understanding, only the third generation and latest battery swap stations could help Envo to swap the batteries. Could you please remind us how many units of the later generation battery swap stations could help for the Envo swap?
谢谢。我们3代站的话呢，要经过一些改造，但这个改造的工作量当然不会很大了，大概是几十万人民币的一个投资吧，大概20-30万人民币，差不多20-30万人民币的投资，改造了以后就可以给乐道用。当然我们3代站是超过1000座的，所以3代站本身就超过1000座的。我们从6月份开始，就是应该在下周吧，我们就开始正式的部署我们的4代站。那么4代站当然就是它上来就是可以可以就兼容这个乐道和这个Envo 和这个Nio 的品牌。当然这个我们今年这个还会根据整个市场的计划去看我们到底需要部署多少换电站，但所有的4代站当然都是可以给到乐道用的。所以今年如果看这个目前的一个进展的角度来讲的话，我认为到年底的话，能够给乐道用的站，乐道的用户用的站肯定是超过1000座的，肯定是会超过不少。
Thank you for the question. For our third generation power swap station to be compatible with Envo's products, we do need to make some necessary modification. It is not a very expensive one, around 200 to 300,000 RMB per station for the modification. So far, we have already installed more than 1,000 third generation power swap stations, so that will be a base. In the meantime, starting June, actually next week, we will start to install our fourth generation power swap stations, and these stations will be compatible with both Envo and Nio products. And also later this year, depending on the market and the demand, we will also see and decide how many fourth generation stations we need to deploy for Nio and Envo products, but all fourth generation stations can be accessed by Envo products. Probably with that, by end of the year, in the market, there will be more than 1,000 stations that can be compatible with Envo products.
当然我们也不会把所有的3代站都改造啊，这个因为也不是每座站都需要改造，所以总的来说，我们因为乐道的用户一上来也还是没有那么多嘛，所以从一个用户体验的角度来讲的话，那肯定它的用户体验还是非常好的。
Of course, it doesn't mean that we will modify or open up all the third generation stations to Envo users, as not every station needs to be modified or open up to the second brand. Not to mention that to start with, Envo will not have a very big user base for the current year. In that case, the experience of both brands will be pretty good.
那我们还是能显著的看到这个换电站建设以后，在一个区域内对于这种销量的增长的这个相关性我们在长三角我们卖的确实非常好，我们长三角占我们整个公司的 销售这个保有用户数超过1半以上。那我们在长三角当然也有800多座换电站估计快接近900座了。那所以我们能看到这些相关性，所以我们也正在看整个的一个 ROI 的模型，就是一个换电站的部署，单独一座换电站的部署，到底能带来多少销量的增量不管是对于 Onvo 还是对于对于 Nio。所以我们下一步的换电站的部署，我们认为我们在全国的网络已经基本上形成了，所以我们下一步的换电站的部署会更多的根据对销量的促进从这个视角去看我们的投资的回报会更加的有针对性。那我们也正在做这方面的一些分析，就是我们以后的换电站的部署会更加的从整个公司的角度来讲 ROI 会更高一些。
In the meantime, we also see some correlations between the number of power swap stations or the density of the power swap stations in certain regions and the sales performance in that region. For example, in the Yangtze River Delta area, basically half of our users are based out in that area, and in this area we have already installed nearly 900 power swap stations. So there is a correlation between the number of stations and the number of cells. In that case, we are also developing a ROI model to calculate the return on the power swap station investment. In that case, our deployment of the power swap station and the decision on the deployment will be also relevant to their contributions to the sales volume, be it sales of Nio or sales of the Onvo brand. As right now, we have already initially established a charging and swapping network for China to cover most of the basic needs. For the next step, we will look closely the return on the investment of all the power swap stations, especially the return on the sales volume. In that case, our deployment next step will also be more targeted.
Thank you. So my second question is regarding the level 3 license permit. I think you are among the first batch to receive the level 3 autonomous driving testing license permit. How do you plan to utilize this opportunity, and how should you further develop on the autonomous driving technologies? Thank you.
谢谢。对，在2天前呢，我们刚刚获得了工信部等4个部委的这样一个在 L3 方面的一个试点的企业的一个准入那这个是还是挺重要的一件事我们也是在新创业的公司里面第一批入选的一方面当然是对我们的这个技术那是给予了一个很好的一个认可。另外一方面，我们也会利用这个机会去看看，在更高级别的这个智能驾驶方面，从一个从一个准入的角度和政府部门会有更多的一个交流的机会那我们觉得对整个行业来说都是非常有价值的。
Thank you for the question. Yes, 2 days ago we have received the L3 testing permit issued by 4 ministries, including MIIT. And also among all the startups, we are one of the earliest to receive the first batch of permits issued by the government. This also represents a recognition of our technologies. For the next step, with the permit, with the testing capability, we will be able to keep more frequent communications with the government regarding the application and also the testing of the higher levels of autonomous driving technologies, which will also be very important for the entire industry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Your next question comes from Yuqian Ding from HSBC. Please go ahead.
Thank you, team. My first question is probably still an extra mile on the margin and pricing. So second quarter, probably we're going to see higher economic scale, almost doubled versus the first quarter, yet the promotion and also lower mix likely to remain as a dilution. So you talked about the flexible on pricing earlier. So could you put us in a bit more context about how we prioritize pricing, mix, and volume, and each of them weighting on the margin side?
谢谢于倩。这个，我想这个我们这个5月份、4月份、5月份销量的增长是一个综合的一个结果吧。这个当然，首先是我们完成了产品切换我们 从这个切换到2024款了，整个产品的这个竞争力肯定是增加了。第二个来讲，我觉得我们整个的这个 BaaS 就是 Battery as a Service，我们整个这个策略是非常重要的。我们在3月份的时候发布了长寿命电池的这个战略，那同时我们调整了这个电池月租的价格基于我们对于电池寿命的延长，通过运营来延长电池的寿命，还有我们和我们电池的供应商在电池的质量保证方面有一个这个更好的约定。所以总的来说的话，我们 BaaS 的这个价格的调整，对于这个用户接受这个订阅的这个模式是非常重要的。我们现在的这个订阅的比例，就是采用电池租用方式的这个比例是超过了80%所以这个整个的这个 take rate 是显著的增加了。当然我们针对 BaaS 的话，我们也给了一些每4个月送1个月的这样的一些这个一些促销的这样的一些措施。那第3个来讲，我认为是非常重要的，就是我们的销售网络的这个扩展。从去年销售能力的提升，去年的下半年开始，我们意识到我们的销售的网络和就销售人员的数量是不够的就是所以我们从去年这个3、4季度开始在做这方面的建设。那今年从这个3、4月份开始呢，那我们 qualified 的这种fellow 的数量是显著增加了，那么他们也开始贡献这个销售的这个订单所以这也是非常重要的。当然其他的还有我们也看到了这个随着我们换电站的增加，还有大家对我们换电的这种认可，对我们的这个可充可换可升级的这个认可，以及我们的保值率产品的保值率的口碑。因为我们我看前2天这个中国汽车流通协会的一个保值率的调查，我们的 ES8 还有我们好几款车型都是在群电里面的表现都是 top 的，所以这是一个非常综合的东西所以我不认为是简单的一个 pricing 方面的这样一个调整事实上我们也并没有官方宣布这个价格的调整，我们只是在 BaaS 方面还有一些油车置换电车的这样补贴方面，我们给了一些优待，其实其他的我们并没有给额外的东西。
Thank you for the question. In the April and also May, we have witnessed the increase in our sales volume, but such increase is actually due to multiple factors. The first is we have just completed our model year facelifts in the first quarter of this year. With that, it has significantly improved the competitiveness of our products. And secondly, we have adjusted our BaaS policy. This March, we have announced our long life battery strategy and also the adjustments to the BaaS monthly subscription fee. By optimizing our operations and also working with our battery suppliers for longer battery warranty, we can prolong the lifetime of the battery and lower the monthly fee for our users. This is actually a very important approach to boost the take rate of the BaaS service. After the announcements and adjustments, the take rate of the battery as a service has raised to more than 80%. Also, we are offering some time-limited promotions on the BaaS service. Right now, our users can buy 4 months of the BaaS and enjoy 1 month for free. The third reason is regarding the improvements on our sales capabilities and capacity. In the second half of last year, we realized that we didn't have enough sales capacities and capabilities, which means we didn't have enough point of sales or the salespersons on team. In that case, we started to build our sales capacity and capabilities. And starting March, April this year, we are seeing more and more qualified fellows to contribute the sales and also orders to the company. So these are several major reasons that are boosting our sales volume in the past 2 months. In addition to that, there are several other reasons. For example, we are deploying and opening up more and more power swap stations. More and more people are also getting to know and starting to recognize the value of a chargeable, swappable, and upgradable solution. And also, we have a pretty stable residual value on our used vehicles. recently there was a evaluation coming from the industry institution, and the ES8 and several other new models actually have the best RV performance among all the BEV products. So it is not just about the adjustments on the prices, not to mention that we haven't announced any price reductions on our products. We are offering some promotions like battery as a service policy promotions or some trade-in incentives for the ICE car users, but no price reductions on the product.
那接下来我们当然还是会这个持续的去希望能改进毛利方面的表现啊，其中很重要的一个就是我们从6月份已经开始，在这个产品的 mix 方面我们要去做一些优化。像我们 ET7 的话，因为从4月底已经开始交了，那我们在 ET7 还有我们的这个 ES8、EC7 这些产品，在它所在的细分市场都是非常有竞争力的。那我们会给一线在这方面会给更多的这样的一些要求，就增加一些高毛利率产品的这样的一些比例啊。那其他的方面我们也在更精细的去做这个 variable marketing 方面的一些管理啊。我们事实上在6月份我们已经收回了一些这个收窄了一些这个短期的促销的政策，比如说我们换电串的数量等等这样的一些我们已经收窄了一些。所以总的来说在保证销量稳步提升的情况下，优化毛利率，这是我们下一阶段很重要的一个任务。
In the meantime, we also will continue to improve our vehicle margin. So starting June, we are taking several actions. The first is to keep improving our product mix. We have started to deliver our ET7 in late April. ET7, ES8, and the EC7, they are pretty competitive in their respective segments, and we will also encourage our frontline teams and our fellows to put more focus on this high margin products to help us optimize product mix. And secondly, we are also optimizing our variable marketing expenses. Starting June, we are also dialing back on our time-limited offers and promotions on the products. For example, we are reducing the number of free power swap brochures we gave out to our users. So overall speaking, we will keep improving our sales volume steadily while optimizing the vehicle margin.
Thank you. That's very comprehensive. The next question is on the overseas business. The Europe Union anti-subsidy investigation towards China EV might come out as a preliminary result next week. So could we have an update refresher on Nio's overseas footprint, including Europe and also Middle East?
Yeah， 当然我们整个产业都在等待这个他们的一些这个宣布吧。当然我们认为这个对于我们当然是认为这是非常错误的一个方向啊。这个因为这个全球的这个可持续发展，那我们认为这个在新能源相关的产品上去增加关税，这个都是跟整个全球可持续发展的这个人类共同的目标都是背道而驰的啊。都是相反的。当然从做一个企业的角度来讲，我们当然会去根据这个他们的最新的一些决定，会去调整我们的一些方向和策略。那目前来讲的话呢 ，Nio 在欧洲的销量，但占我们总体的销量比例是比较低的，所以对我们整个公司的经营，短期的经营不会有什么影响。但长期来说，不管是 Envoy 还是 Firefly。那我们当然都会根据这个他们的下一步的一些关税方面的一些这个调整，去制定最合理的一个策略。
Thank you for the question. It's true that the entire industry is waiting for the preliminary announcement on the anti-subsidy probe of Europe. From our perspective, we don't think such probe is in the right direction. Imposing tariffs on the new energy vehicles is actually going against the initiative of the sustainable development of all humankind. Of course, we will also adjust our directions and strategies according to the latest change on the tariffs of the products. Overall speaking, at the moment, the sales in our European market is still quite moderate in comparison to our total vehicle sales. So the impact on our short-term operations is limited. For the longer term, be it for Nio or for Onvo and the Firefly products, we will also develop and make necessary adjustments to our strategies according to the latest tariff policies.
从中东的角度来讲，我们在今年晚些时候，我们应该会在 UAE 开始正式提供我们的产品和服务我们相关的准备工作都在进展的过程中。
Regarding the Middle East market entry, later this year, we are going to start to offer our products and services in the UAE market. We are making market entry preparation right now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yuqian.
Thank you. Your next question comes from Jing Cheng from CICC. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you for taking my questions. My first question is a quick follow-up question about, can we share with us more information on the financial impact of the major, especially BAS policy adjustment for in the first quarter, such as our BAS rental fee adjustment and also our 441 battery rental and also our like battery swap coupons. These financial impacts, especially for our income statement. And this is my first question.
Yeah, about the bus price adjustment, I think two parts. The first is about the price reduction from like 980 to 728. Currently, no material impact to Nio's revenue and gross profit margin. I think, as mentioned by William, we make this adjustment based on the assumptions that the battery can use for a longer time, and also some optimization of the battery life operations. So that's first. Secondly, about the promotions. Use 4 months and 1 month for free. We granted this equity to the users for 5 years. So generally, the financial impact of this promotion is about below 6,000 per car. So that's the general impact of this policy. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. My second question is about also for our Onvo and also Firefly. So this year we'll have Onvo's first car, and next year we'll have Firefly to be launched. And our 3 sub-brands, including Nio, will form a quite complete product matrix in next year. So can you share more information on these different positions and also the different relationships between these 3 brands, and also in what aspects can we collaborate?
Yeah， 那从这个我们3个品牌的角度来讲，这个定位还是非常清楚的。这个从 Nio 来讲的话呢，我们定位在这个高端市场 premium 的这个市场。那么针对的用户主要还是商务兼顾家庭的这样一个用户群。那么从这个Firefly 的话呢，就是主流的这个家用的这个Onvo 的这个主要还是主流的这个家庭市场那非常清晰，它的目标用户群就是家庭用户那么当然 Firefly 我前面也讲过了，它的定位在中国的话呢，更是一个boutique 的一个小车的这样一个 entry level 的这样一个车。那么它这个从定位的角度来讲的话呢，它的这个定位就是也是服务于家庭的这样的一个需求特别是第2辆车的这样的一个需求。那么这3个品牌的定位还是非常清晰的。那么如果从价格段的角度来讲的话呢，主销的价格的都是10几万、20几万、30几万这样一个价格段，所以他们的这个价位区间区分也是比较清晰的。当然他们的共同特点就是都是能换电。
Thank you for the question. Regarding the positioning of our 3 different brands, actually they are very clearly differentiated. For Nio, it is a premium brand, target business-oriented users and business communities, also have a spillover to the family-oriented users. For Anvo, it targets the premium family market, mass market. So its target user is very clear, family users. For Firefly, as I've mentioned, in China, it will be an affordable boutique compact car. We target the family-oriented users, especially those families who are buying Firefly as their second vehicle. That's about the positioning of these 3 brands. Price-wise, it is also pretty clear. The starting prices of all 3 brands will be around 100,000, 200,000, and 300,000 RMB. That is also clearly differentiated. However, these 3 brands do share a similarity, that is the power swap. All 3 brands can support power swap.
当然，还有一点的话呢，就是在智能化和电动化方面的这种，还有包括整车工程方面的复用也是非常高的。特别是比如从智能化的角度来讲的话呢，那我们的这个所有的不管是硬件和软件，它们之间的这个能力是高度复用的。那当然从这个换电站的角度来讲，我们看到了 Anvo 和这个Nio 之间的换电站是可以共享的。那当然还有整车工程方面事实上我们可以这个 share 的是非常多的。我们制造的话呢，目前我们 L60 就乐道的第一款产品，那么也是在 Nio 的这个 F2 工厂里面生产，所以我们能看到我们这样3个品牌其实能够 share 的这个能力和这个我们的投资是非常非常多的。
In addition to power swap, 3 brands also share the fundamental capabilities for smart technologies, electrification, and also vehicle engineering capabilities. For example, when it comes to smart technologies, software-wise, hardware-wise, 3 brands can share quite a lot of synergies. For the power swap stations, as we've already mentioned, Nio and Anvo will be sharing the same power swap station and also structure. For the vehicle engineering, there are also quite a lot of capabilities that can be shared across all 3 brands. In terms of manufacturing and production, the first model of Anvo L60 will be manufactured in Nio's second factory, Nio F2. So from this perspective, you can tell how much synergies we can leverage and how much investment we can share across 3 brands.
Thank you, Chang Jing.
Thank you. Your next question comes from Tina Hou from Goldman Sachs. Please go ahead.
Thank you for taking my question. So my first question is regarding, actually just now William mentioned to keep the volume steadily increased and then to improve gross margin. So 在销量稳定提升的前提下提升毛利率. So can we interpret this as for the upcoming months, we do expect the vehicle volume to be above 20,000 units per month? That's my first question. Thanks.
谢谢 Tina。对，所以我们从目前来看的话，我们看到了我们的需求的话呢是还是非常稳定的。我们当然近期我们要面临的一些小的烦恼就是我们这个在6月份在5月份我们的订单的需求事实上是已经超过了我们的产能了，所以我们基本上这个5月份的交付量就是我们当月能生产的最大的产量，所以这当然对我们是个幸福的烦恼嘛。但总的来说的话呢，我们看到我们的这个订单的增长还是非常这个稳定和非常这个持续的在增长，所以总的来说我们对接下来的这个销量交付量我们还是非常有信心。
It's true that we do see a pretty stable demand on our products. Recently, we do have several small headaches. For example, in May, actually the order demand has exceeded our production capacity. So the actual deliveries we achieved in May basically means the maximum number of vehicles we can produce for that month. So we do see a steady and sustainable growth momentum on our order intake, and we have a confidence of continuing that.
And thank you. Can I just have a quick follow-up for the I think starting from September, you will start to deliver Onvo. So does the 20,000 units sort of forecast or target include Onvo or exclude Onvo?
我们这个乐道发布了以后，我们事实上是看到了它对于Nio 品牌也是一个正面的推动啊，所以我们没有看到 Nio 的需求受到乐道发布的影响。当然，从生产的角度来讲呢，我们已经在这个培训这个我们的工人，我们希望在通过开双班、部分双班的方式来增加我们的产能啊。所以我们刚才讲的当然不包含乐道啊，这个刚才提的这个销量肯定是不包含乐道。我刚才说的就是 Nio 自己的这个销量。
After the launch of Onvo brand, we actually see positive impact on the sales of new products. It hasn't affected the demand on the new products. In the meantime, we are also training the operators and also the frontline teams so that we can get ready for the production of Onvo's product. We may also arrange dual shifts in certain production lines or sections to fulfill the demand of both brands and products. Regarding whether this number you've just mentioned, well, if it has included the volume assumptions for Onvo, actually it does not. That is only the assumption for the new brand.
Thank you. That's very clear. Thanks, William. And then my second question is regarding the operating expenses. So first on SG&A, in the first quarter, we see SG&A actually increased by 22% year over year. So should we expect similar type of increase in the following 3 quarters? And also actually starting from September, since there will be 100 new stores for Onvo added. So in that, like the last quarter, should we expect SG&A expense to grow even higher? And then in terms of R&D, on the other hand, I see it down 7% year over year. So for like overall R&D expense, what kind of annual spending level do you think it will be like a sustainable or steady state kind of expense for us to keep competitive in terms of our hardware and software technology? Thank you.
Yeah, regarding the operating expense, first is about selling expense. Yeah, actually, in Q1, our marketing activities decreased, considering the impact of Chinese New Year festival and also the seasonal change. Starting from Q2, we are expecting that the percentage of selling expense against the vehicle revenue will be improved if our sales growth quarter over quarter can be achieved as planned. So that's about selling price. Along with the launch of Onvo, we don't think the efficiency will be like damaged since with the volume increase of Onvo, we will have a larger like sales revenue. So this is about the efficiency of selling expense. For the R&D expense, the fluctuation in Q1 is in line with the cadence of our R&D activities, especially the development of new vehicle models and core tech. Generally, the forecast for R&D expense in 2024 will be consistent with 2023. That is to say, the non-GAAP quarterly spending will be around 3 billion RMB. I think this outlook is consistent with our prior quarters like statements. Thank you, Tina.
Thank you. Yeah, I understand that in terms of SG&A as a percentage of revenue, it's going to decline. But just in terms of the year-over-year growth for SG&A, shall we expect it to grow more than 22% this year?
Yeah, I think based on our current forecast, that we don't think it will exceed 20% in 2024. Yeah.
Okay, that's very clear. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. As there are no further questions now, I'd like to turn the call back over to the company for closing remarks.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have further questions, please feel free to contact Nio's IR team through the contact information provided on our website. This concludes the conference call. You may now disconnect your line. Thank you.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I found it a little disappointing, but that's how it goes. And I've got music in my ear. I'm just going to make sure that the computer's muted when I take that out. And yeah, so I'll just go over my thoughts real briefly, but then I am going to close the stream down, and I will add timestamps to all of the English responses. One of the things that's tough for Chinese earnings calls is there's always like the back and forth, the translation, and it kind of slows it down. But at the same time, it also gives us a break to kind of think about what was said and to just, see what's going on with the chart. And so, I've shared on the channel in the community tab some calls that I got on Nio. And so I feel like, it will close above $5 on the 21st. So I have one call that expires with a strike of $5. So, happy to exercise that to get 100 more shares at $5, but also happy to swing it for some profit, close that out before expiration, because I already do have some shares. And yeah, so either way, I'm good with that. But if it does expire worthless, that just means price is lower than $5. And then, I can add some more shares then. So not a big deal. But yeah, just looking at the chart on the daily time scale, I've gone over this before. It does look to me like it is, an inverse head and shoulders pattern, bull flag here. And this actually, looked like kind of a mini bull flag as well. But really, it does look like maybe there's some kind of channel here, and we've been trading right in the middle of it. And so with that being said, there's some room to the upside, room to the downside, and it looks like we are going to the downside, which is unfortunate. There's some, hope always whenever there's some volatility pre-market or after hours that it is just kind of, to fake us out before the market opens. But with this, drop and then there being some, ups and downs, maybe we're going to go higher here, maybe not, maybe we're going to go lower, but still kind of in this range. I feel like $5 is going to be a pretty key level. And, I did get a call that expires tomorrow with a $6 strike, just, cost me $8, and just kind of having fun with, having a little bit more conviction in my analysis, putting a little bit of money on it. And, that's probably going to expire worthless. But I did place a sell order for when market opens to sell it at $8. So I would lose, I think, like 13 cents or something like that based on fees. But, just to exit that. But I suspect it will expire worthless, and that's fine. It's a loss of $8. No big deal. And let's see. Yeah, and so from these Fibonacci's that I've done, the level here, the 786, is 496, right around there. So hopefully, we do hold that once the market opens. But I'm actually going to delete some of these lines. So when I do switch over to, I'm actually going to delete all of them. When I do switch over to the daily time frame, we don't have a bunch of clutter. And so let's see, when I switch over to the daily time frame, yeah, we have really this 50% retracement from this move to the upside. That is at 482.8. And, we are above that right now. So hopefully, yeah, this white line, I guess I didn't delete this one. This was the low. Actually, I believe it's 486 during the pre-market. And so that is just above that 50% level, also just above the red line here at $4.78, corresponding with the low over here, which was support around that earnings, and then acted as resistance over here, support again over here. So I'm hoping that acts as support again, but if not, this downtrending white line, we could be revisiting the 618. That would be around 454. And so maybe that is the next level to dip by. And so what I'm doing, I'm going to wait to see if my call expires in the money, worthless, whatever, on the 21st. If it expires worthless, then it's like, okay, well, then price is lower and then I can get more shares at a discount. If it expires in the money, then I can exercise it. Or, leading up to that, if it goes up to, let's say, 7 before the 21st, that would be, an ideal situation for all of us. Then, I could sell that call to make some money on the premium on it. But I'm expecting it to close below $5 a share on the 21st. And so rather than thinking, I'm going to miss out on that, price is going to be lower, I'm just going to wait until probably just before the 21st. If price is below $5, I might add 100 shares then, because if I, anticipate that, price is going to be below $5 before the 21st, and then I get, let's say, 100 shares at 490, maybe price continues to go down, and then I'm not really hedging my bet. I'm just doubling down and then losing more money. So I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to hang out until the 21st before adding more. And so maybe on the 20th, if price is notably below $5 a share, I might then, pick up whether it's 100 or, up to that. I'm not a really big player. So, I was given a hard time on Twitter about a position I have in Plug Power, a call that I have in that, and that, I should add some zeros to the 100 share note. And you got to trade with what you're comfortable with. You got to work with your own risk profile. We're all in different financial positions. And for me to go into a position or to have a buy of more than 100 shares, really of any stock, that gets me out of my, not necessarily comfort zone, but it gets into more reckless territory with the amount that I'm working with on the side. And really that's just largely because, I've got a lot in AMC right now. That's something that I've been accumulating over a long period of time. And, until, some of those funds get, can move those around, I can't really be spreading myself too thin. And Nio, I think 100 shares at $5 is a worthwhile bet, and I'm going to wait until the 21st to see if that plays out or how that plays out. Because maybe what happens is I basically placed a bet that by the 21st I think price will be above $5. But if I'm wrong, maybe we come down to $3.61 again. And so then, I could pick up 100 shares at that price, which, really is a sale. That's a discount from what I view the price of Nio should be. So for me, I'm just kind of hanging out, hoping, I put money on price being above $5 a share by the 21st. And if I'm wrong, that means there's a sale to take advantage of. So I think that's kind of the nice way to play in the money calls. And, so I'm just working on that, learning in the money calls rather than out of the money calls, even though I did just do kind of a fun one that expires tomorrow with strike of 6. It's going to expire worthless. But I see Sun's comment here. Agree, seems most trades above $5 after hours. Hope $5 is support. There were some $5.25 for a few minutes orders, I guess, that were high with 5,000 to 10,000 shares. So, right now, unfortunately, it seems like we're pulling back, but maybe we see that this is an overreaction over the next week. We see, so what was the low or the close from yesterday? It was 527. So we're going to be seeing a gap down. maybe that gap's filled, and maybe, the thesis that I have of this being an inverse head and shoulders, this being a bull flag, and that we will be breaking above $6, maybe that will come to fruition in the coming weeks. But if not, that just means more time for getting discounted shares. And so I'm going to wait for that. I'm going to be patient. And I just think that looking at the chart, we did get this break below this downtrend. You can view that as discounted shares, or you can view that as a time to panic. And so right now, I am choosing to not panic. I am choosing to not FOMO. I am choosing to wait to see what happens until the 21st. And, I don't know how many people are interested in call options, but I think it's kind of an interesting way to gauge the market and gauge, the direction of the stock. And so basically my thought process and, looking at this, the June 21st strike, I think that it'll be closing above $5 a share. Part of the reason for that is we can see the open interest here, 25,000. That's more than the other in the money calls. But if we look, and actually that's not going to be in the money once the market opens. Let's see. And then as far as the out of the money calls, there's a lot more interest, going up to $10 a share, $9, $7.50, or $6. That's, getting into the 40,000 or 50,000 range, almost 60,000 as far as open interest goes. And so to me, that is not actually that bullish. That suggests to me it's more reckless, that people are expecting violent moves to the upside. Violent moves to the upside aren't necessarily sustainable. They really aren't. They are not sustainable. And so I feel like that kind of gets into the more gambling mindset of stocks. If there's a big move to the upside, if price doubles from $5 going up to $10 a share, those calls would expire in the money. I view a 2x of Nio within the span of a couple weeks to be unlikely. And so those calls, I expect them to expire worthless. And so in placing a call option, an out of the money call with this out of the money strike, I view that as, more or less gambling to swing the call. For me, I view an in the money call as, I would be happy to buy 100 shares at $5 a share. But if it closes out of the money, then that means price is lower than $5 a share, and I'd be happy to buy 100 shares at that price. So I'll just wait for it. And maybe that's $3.61, maybe it's $4. But either way, I risked $48 with this call. It's now actually, no, I think I risked $70 with this call. And, so I'm down about $10 on it. It might expire worthless, but if it does, and maybe price is around $4, that means I risked $70 and that money's probably thrown away. But then if I'm waiting and then I can get shares at $4 a share, then that means that average, with buying this call and losing $70, average is around $4.70. So I think that's, a fair way to do it. And also on the note of these calls, I do think it's always good to look over at max pain. And so max pain for the 21st, I'm just going to refresh this. Options don't change during after hours or pre-market. You can only place them. You can place orders before or after market opens, closes, but they won't be executed until when the market closes. Oh, and so here I just refreshed it. So it's the 7th. And so I'm going to switch it to the 21st. So this Friday, tomorrow, the max pain is 6. For the 21st, these are monthly contracts, it's 6. And so that's kind of why I felt that a strike of $5 was kind of safe, because not only is it in the money, it's also below max pain. But if it does, like I said, close below 5 on the 21st, no big deal, just discounted shares, so that's good for all of us. But, on that note, kind of going over the options calls and, my thesis, my strategy, I'm probably going to end this. And I'm just going to throw this up here at the end. If you did enjoy this stream, if you do enjoy earnings calls, make sure that you like them. Always happy to do them. And, hopefully it is entertaining to be watching the chart as we do watch the earnings calls. I personally find earnings calls pretty tough, especially when managing a stream, because I'm not only looking at the chart, I'm also taking notes on the call. really just for timestamps, and it's tough for me to pay attention to all of the things. So I hope that you guys got some value out of it, and I do appreciate the comments in the live chat because it keeps me more engaged. And also, the comments, and the videos. Thank you so much for all of that. I hope you guys did enjoy. And with the market about to open in 5 minutes, I'll leave you guys to enjoy the rest of your days. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you in the next one. I'll probably do another Nio video in